She didn't expect you to go silent this long. In the beginning, the silence felt ordinary, almost predictable. A pause driven by emotion, a temporary withdrawal that would eventually give way to curiosity, regret, or the need to explain. That's how silence usually works. Most people use it as a holding pattern, not a destination. Most people break it long before it becomes meaningful. But this silence didn't behave like the others. It didn't fade. It didn't soften. It didn't turn into a late-night message or a moment of weakness. Instead, it stretched. Days passed without a signal. Weeks followed without an opening. And somewhere along the way, the silence stopped feeling emotional and started feeling deliberate. That's when the dynamic truly shifted. Silence is often mistaken for longing or punishment, but disciplined silence is neither. The Stoics understood that silence held without agitation is an act of self-command. It's what happens when you no longer need to be seen, understood, or validated to remain steady. When you don't chase relief from discomfort, you stop feeding the very tension that keeps you emotionally tethered. She expected you to move because movement confirms attachment. A reaction would have proven that her presence still stirred something urgent inside you. But what she encountered instead was stillness. Not coldness, not avoidance. Stillness. And stillness is deeply unsettling when reaction is expected. This wasn't silence used to provoke. It wasn't a countdown to a message. It was silence backed by alignment, backed by a life that began filling the space she once occupied. When silence stops asking for a response, it becomes a statement all on its own. This video is about why staying silent this long changes everything, why real no contact isn't about endurance, it's about detachment, and why the moment you stop waiting for the silence to end, it becomes the thing that sets you free. If this resonates, take a moment to like the video, leave a comment, subscribe, and turn on notifications to become a Stoic soldier. Because the strongest silence isn't the one meant to be heard, it's the one that no longer needs to be broken. She expected you to break the silence because most people eventually do. Silence creates pressure, and pressure usually forces movement. Doubt creeps in. Curiosity grows. The mind starts searching for relief, and relief often comes in the form of reaching out. That's the pattern she was familiar with. Silence was supposed to bend you back toward connection. In the early stages, she may have assumed your quiet meant you were struggling, that you were thinking about her, that you were waiting for the right moment to speak. Silence is often interpreted as emotional tension, not discipline. And because of that assumption, there was no urgency, no concern, just the belief that time would do its work on you. But time did something else entirely. Instead of weakening you, it strengthened your resolve. Instead of amplifying emotion, it softened it. The silence didn't make you restless, it made you clearer. And as that clarity grew, the idea of breaking no contact began to feel unnecessary. This is where expectations started to fail. Silence that lasts too long stops fitting the usual story. It no longer looks like pain or longing. It starts to look like choice, and choice changes the meaning of everything. When silence becomes a choice, it no longer asks for permission. It doesn't wait for the other person to act. It stands on its own. And once that realization sets in, the dynamic is no longer about who speaks first. It's about who no longer needs to. In the beginning, no contact doesn't feel powerful. It feels uncomfortable. The silence is loud in your own mind. There's an urge to check, to clarify, to make sure nothing was misunderstood. Early on, silence feels like restraint rather than freedom. You're holding yourself back, not because it's easy, but because you know reacting would pull you into a loop you're trying to escape. At this stage, she likely felt distance, but not absence. Distance still implies connection. It suggests something unfinished. The silence feels reversible, like a door that's closed but unlocked. There's an assumption that when the moment is right, the door will open again. But as time passes, something shifts. The silence doesn't break under pressure. It doesn't thin out. It becomes consistent, and consistency changes perception. What once felt temporary starts to feel intentional. This is the moment when no contact stops being interpreted as emotion and starts being interpreted as direction, not avoidance, not punishment, direction. And direction implies that something else is being chosen. When silence reaches this point, it stops feeling like something you're doing and starts feeling like who you've become. And that's when its impact truly begins to register, because it's no longer about holding back words, it's about moving forward without them. This is where no contact separates itself from strategy. Up to this point, silence can still be misunderstood as a waiting game, but there comes a moment when the silence no longer feels tense or deliberate. It feels natural. You're no longer counting days. You're no longer resisting the urge to reach out. The urge itself has faded. Your life begins to fill the space that silence created. New routines form. Your thoughts stop circling the same questions. The emotional weight lightens, not because answers arrived, but because the need for them dissolved. Silence stops being something you maintain and becomes something you inhabit. From the outside, this is hard to read. Silence backed by discipline doesn't announce change. It doesn't signal closure. It simply continues. And that continuity is what makes it powerful. It doesn't ask to be acknowledged. It doesn't explain itself. This is often the point when she realizes the silence isn't a message anymore. It's a boundary. Not a defensive one, but a settled one. A line that isn't guarded with emotion because it no longer needs to be. When silence becomes a boundary rather than a tactic, it carries finality without hostility. And that kind of quiet finality changes how everything before it is remembered. There's a moment, often subtle, when realization sets in. Not panic, not regret, just understanding. The silence has lasted too long to be accidental, too long to be emotional, too long to be a phase. What once felt like distance now feels like absence. And absence carries a different weight. This is when the questions begin. Not the kind that demand answers, but the kind that linger. What changed? When did he stop orbiting? Why does the silence feel so complete? Silence backed by time forces reflection, because there's nothing else to engage with. No new information, no reaction to interpret. What's unsettling isn't that you disappeared. It's that you didn't hover. You didn't check in one last time. You didn't leave emotional breadcrumbs. You moved forward without announcing it. And that movement, carried out in silence, is impossible to argue with. This is the point where no contact reveals its true power. Not because you stayed silent, but because you stayed gone long enough for the silence to stand on its own. And once it does, the dynamic no longer revolves around connection or loss. It revolves around acceptance. Long silence is disruptive because it removes feedback. There's no reassurance to lean on, no emotional signal to decode, no reaction to adjust behavior around. The mind looks for confirmation and finds nothing. And when confirmation disappears, control weakens. Silence creates a vacuum where assumptions can't easily survive. She may replay conversations, revisit moments, wonder where things shifted. But silence doesn't clarify. It doesn't defend itself. It doesn't offer closure on demand. And that lack of resolution lingers far longer than any argument ever could. This is why words lose power where silence gains it. Words can be challenged, reframed, explained away. Silence just exists. It doesn't negotiate. It doesn't soften itself for comfort. It stands firm, backed by time. The Stoics understood that what cannot be argued with eventually has to be accepted. Long silence forces acceptance not through pressure, but through inevitability. There is nothing left to push against. And once acceptance begins, the dynamic changes permanently. Silence is no longer something that needs interpretation. It becomes a fact. And facts, unlike emotions, don't bend to desire. While all of this is happening externally, the most important change is taking place inside you. The silence gives you space, real space, to reset your nervous system. The constant pull to check, to wonder, to replay conversations slowly fades. You stop living in anticipation of a message or an outcome. Your mind returns to the present. You begin to see things more clearly, not just the situation, but yourself within it. Where you overextended, where you compromised, where you ignored your own intuition. Silence allows these realizations to surface without judgment. There's no rush to fix or explain, just understanding. This is where no contact stops feeling like restraint and starts feeling like relief. You're no longer holding back words, you no longer need them. The emotional charge that once fueled the connection drains away naturally, not because you forced it, but because it no longer has anything to feed on. And once that internal shift happens, silence becomes effortless. You're not staying quiet to make a point. You're quiet because you've moved on internally. That's the difference between silence as a strategy and silence as a state of being. When silence reaches this point, it's no longer about them at all. It's about you finally being at peace without needing anyone else to validate it. This is where no contact is often misunderstood from the outside. People assume silence means avoidance, fear, or unfinished emotion. But what they can't see is alignment. When your actions match your self-respect, silence happens naturally. You're not resisting contact, you're choosing peace. And choice carries a different energy than restraint. At this stage, returning no longer feels tempting, not because you're angry, but because you've changed. The version of you that needed answers, reassurance, or closure no longer exists in the same way. Silence didn't freeze you in place. It allowed you to grow past the point where returning made sense. That's why the silence lasted this long. Not because you were trying to be strong, but because breaking it would mean stepping backward. And once you feel that internal alignment, you don't negotiate with it. You protect it. This is the quiet truth of no contact. It doesn't work because it makes someone miss you. It works because it helps you remember who you are when you stop orbiting someone else's gravity. And when you remember that fully, silence stops feeling like absence. It feels like direction. Silence lasts longer than words because it doesn't invite debate. Words open conversations. Conversations reopen wounds. Wounds keep the past alive. Silence closes that loop without force. It doesn't argue for meaning. It allows meaning to settle on its own. And what settles through time carries more weight than anything spoken in emotion. She may remember what was said, but she will feel what wasn't. The absence of reaction, the lack of return, the quiet consistency of someone who didn't circle back for reassurance or recognition. That kind of silence rewrites the story retroactively. It changes how everything before it is interpreted. Words can be dismissed as impulse. Silence backed by time cannot. It signals something final without needing to announce finality. And that finality is what lingers, not as pain, but as understanding. For you, this is where freedom fully arrives. You're no longer measuring time by what hasn't happened. You're no longer waiting for silence to do something. Silence has already done its work. It carried you forward while you weren't looking. And once silence has taken you this far, going back would feel unnatural. Not because you're afraid, but because you've already crossed the threshold where words are no longer necessary. She didn't expect you to go silent this long. She expected emotion to pull you back in. A message, a moment of weakness, some sign that the connection still had gravity. What she encountered instead was resolve. Not loud, not cold, just steady. And steady silence changes everything. No contact was never about proving strength to her. It was about rebuilding it in yourself. The longer the silence lasted, the more it stopped being an action and became an identity. You didn't stay silent to make a point. You stayed silent because returning no longer aligned with who you became in that space. This is the Stoic truth beneath it all. Silence is powerful, not because it hurts someone else, but because it frees you. It breaks emotional dependency. It restores clarity. It teaches you that peace does not require explanation or permission. You didn't disappear. You moved forward quietly, and once you do that fully, there is no urge to announce it. The silence speaks for itself. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to like the video, Leave a comment sharing what no contact taught you, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Thank you for watching, and remember, sometimes the strongest proof of growth is staying silent long enough to never need to go back.